Simultaneous. We'll discuss some points from right side, the self-improvement from Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is the ultimate self-improvement instruction and the Vedic literatures together. Everything is included in there. If one knows Krishna, then he knows everything. Because Krishna is the ultimate self-improvement is to know Krishna. Yasman vigatam nitam vigatam bhavati. And if one knows Krishna, then he knows everything. And he gets all good qualities. Yasyasti bhakti bhagavati kinchana. Gunai sarvas. Yasyasti bhakti bhagavati kinchana sarva gunai. One becomes Krishna conscious, and he automatically gets all the good qualities of the demigods. Krishna has all good qualities, and by coming close to Krishna, then one gets all those good qualities, just like fire. The fire has qualities of heat and light. So if you come near the fire, you get warm and you get light. So other types of self-improvement are coming from people who are defective living entities. They can't give real self-improvement. Whereas if we get it from the source, then it's pure. So first thing is relationships we're going to discuss. And good thing to remember in relationships is the difference between the bees and the flies. The bees look for honey, and the flies look for dirty things like sores, unclean garbage. So we want to be like the bee. Look for the good qualities in others. That's what Krishna does. Krishna says, if you surrender to me, never mind whatever you've done in the past, it's cleared, taken off, disregarded. That's really the honeybee. Doesn't care whatever you've done. You may have blasphemed Krishna, you may have been an atheist, sinful person, Naradama, Duskritina, Mudha, whatever. Krishna's just like with Putana. She was the most treacherous witch. She killed many children. Not only did she kill many children, but she wanted to kill Krishna. But somehow or other she approached Krishna pretending to be a mother, not even really mother, but pretending. And Krishna took the bright side. Well, she's pretending to be like a mother, so I'll treat her like a mother. And then the next point is Vaikuntha mentality. In Vaikuntha, everyone likes to glorify the other devotees. In the material world, sometimes we like to criticize others, but Vaikuntha, the mood is to appreciate another's service. After all, just think how much Krishna is appreciated. He says, Patram Pushpam Palam Toyam Yome Bhaktya Priyachati Taram Bhakti Paritam Vaishnami Prayatadmana. If one offers me with love and devotion, leaf of flower, fruit, or water, I will accept it. He's taking it as a big thing. So, it's nice for relationships to try to see the good qualities, to appreciate the service of others, other devotees. We can't imitate the first-class devotee who sees everyone as a devotee. We're trying to become second-class devotees. The second-class devotee makes friendship with the devotees. So, in that friendship we can appreciate their service. One time, devotee wrote to Prabhupada, complaining about many other devotees. And Prabhupada didn't appreciate that very much. He said, rather than finding faults, finding the holes. Why don't you become exemplary? And then, if you're exemplary, if you point out some ideas for improvement, people will appreciate. So, more important than how to correct others is how to correct ourselves. Look at the things we have to work on. Yes, I can find faults in you, you can find faults in me, but most important correction should be with myself. So always have a nice list of areas that you need to improve on yourself. Don't neglect that, that's the most important. Then next item is reserve judgments. So, in modern terms, this would be called, one should be non-judgmental. And there's some truth in that. That there's no need for us to give judgments if it's not our duty. One should try to perform his own duty, even if he performs it imperfectly. Better to perform one's own duty than to try to perform another's duty. So if someone asks me, what is my opinion about something, I should consider whether it's my duty to give my opinion, whether I'm qualified to give my opinion. To give an opinion is not an easy thing. I mean, to be a judge is not something that everyone can be a judge. In the state, when they're choosing a judge, they choose the top person. A person who's not only qualified in learning and education and experience, but has excellent character. That's who they make a judge. Then people will accept what judgment is. So, before we give our judgments, we have to deliberate. If it's our duty to act as a judge and give our opinion, then we can give, that's fine. But if it's not our duty, we should be careful about that, because we may be trying to do someone else's duty. That's not recommended. And example would give us people watching the television, seeing some football game or some sports, and they're sitting there and they're saying what the person should have done. He should have kicked the ball here, he should have done this, should have done that. It makes no sense. He's sitting there on the sofa and he's saying what somebody else should have done. If he were out there, he probably would not be, might be knocked over. But yet he's giving his opinion, so we generally think our opinion is very even if we're not very learned and if we don't understand the situation very well. But speaking, just giving our opinion, if we're not very learned, and one gives some suggestions, it should be based on higher authority. It's like scriptural injunctions. Yeah. If someone gives advice, instead of just giving in my opinion what I think, if he gives example from the Vedic literatures, that's valuable. Next point is envy. The material world is based on envy. The beginning of envy is we're envious of Krishna, God. We don't like that he's getting so much appreciation, so much worship. That he's highly honored, that he's the authority. So we object, and then we come to the material world. And all the living entities here, they're envious. Envious of Krishna and envious of others. Because we're thinking that the goal is that I should have sense gratification and I should be, and it's based on competition. And that's our mistake in the material world. We think that happiness means to be ahead of others. If I place ahead of others, then I'll be happy. But happiness or real satisfaction is not based on that, because happiness is spiritual. It's based on the spirit soul. And in the material world, things are limited. Only one person can be first place. The others cannot be. And when someone else is in first place, and the others, they envy him. And when he's in first place, then he's proud and afraid that he'll lose his position and then he won't be. But on the spiritual level, it's not based on mundane material competition, where one has to be above the others. Actually, on the spiritual platform, everyone can be a winner. Because if we're all trying to serve Krishna, and if Krishna is pleased, and we all win. It's like a team sport. And the team is working together. The individuals are not thinking, I want to perform better than someone else. I want to be recognized. They're happy to work cooperatively with the team members. that's without selfishness. And if we remember what the goal is, in the material world, we're thinking the goal is for me to be satisfied. But if I'm satisfied, that doesn't mean that everyone else is satisfied. But in the case of Krishna, if Krishna is satisfied, then everyone is satisfied. He's Rama. He's the reservoir of all pleasure. He's like the stomach. If the stomach is satisfied, and the eyes are satisfied, the legs are satisfied, the arms, everything. Because the stomach is the central point, distributes the satisfaction to others. So if we're working for Krishna, then we all get satisfied. Krishna, it's not that only one person is going to go back to Godhead, and we're all competing. Who's going to be that one? That would be horrible. That would really be a terrible thing. That we learn that, okay, one person's going back to Godhead, and then we all have to fight it out amongst ourselves. Try to kill the other one, make sure he's not the one that goes. If I kill everyone else, then I go. I'm the only one left. So unfortunately, it's not like that. Everyone can go back to Godhead. Krishna has no problem. One time, a devotee was writing Prabhupada. So he was saying how he really wanted to go back to Godhead with a certain, there's some devotees he liked to go with. Prabhupada said, that's nice. He'll go back to Godhead. But not only him, Dayananda will go, Pradumna will go, they listed a whole, Shyamasundar will go. These were not listed in the devotee's idea of who he wanted to associate with. The Prophet listed so many other devotees that they'll go, we'll have another ISKCON there. So, there's no shortage of space there. It's not like mundane competition. Did you ever gamble with your friends for money? Not very nice, is it? Because when you win, they feel terrible. It ruins the relationship, and then when they win, you feel terrible. So the whole thing is based on selfish competition. So better not to gamble with your friends. Better to combine with your friends, work together, then it's nice not to compete with them. In the material world, the policy is that when someone's better than us, we envy them. When someone's equal to us, we compete with them. And when someone's less than us, we exploit them. That's not very nice. Whereas on the spiritual platform, if someone's ahead of us, then we give that person service and respect. And if someone's on our level, equal level, we make friends with them. And if someone's on the lower level, try to help them. Not exploit them. And this is relationships. We can learn from the Vaishnavas, we can learn from how they relate with each other. Look at Maharaj Yudhisthira. Maharaj Yudhisthira was really a great example. He was always giving respect to seniors. He was tremendous at giving respect. He considered it the most important thing. And whenever anyone was in need, he was always there to help them. And of course, make friendships. So we can learn from the devotees. How to relate with other devotees. In the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, there's a basic theme is that one devotee is glorifying another devotee, and that devotee says, I'm not really very worth glorifying, but there's another devotee who's really advanced. And then that devotee, when approached, he says, I'm not very worthy, but this devotee is advanced. So then the whole story is about one devotee, another devotee. That's nice. Next item is a slogan that Prabhupada used, oil your own machine. In other words, mind your own business. Don't stick your nose in everyone else's business. Take care of your own. Prabhupada liked devotees that didn't complain, but they did their own services very nicely, very attentively. Well, your own machine. In other words, we have so many things we need to improve in ourselves. Sometimes devotees think that the only way we can be happy is if we improve the leadership. Maybe there's some room for improvement, and perhaps we might be able to participate in that improvement. That's nice. But we shouldn't forget that if we become purified, if we become free from our unfavorable qualities, then we'll be better servants. We'll be able to see things better, present things better, tolerate better. Sometimes we think, I can't tolerate that other person, I can't tolerate this person. But think about it, that they're tolerating you. They have to tolerate you. Look how much Prabhupada tolerated. Sometimes we may think these people are intolerable. you read the story of Prabhupada's first coming, he was tolerating so many things. If he had come to find faults, there would have been no Hare Krishna movement, because the people he was dealing with, that's all they had was faults. In fact, Kali Yuga is Kaler Doshini De Rajan. It's an ocean of faults. Everything is submerged in faults. So better, if we want to help other people become devotees, rather than seeing their faults, we should try to see the good qualities. I remember once I was beginning a program, a congregational program. So I wanted to have all the names of all the people in the congregation who were visiting. And I wanted to have some information about each one of them so that I would remember who it was. And so I had some things like name, and then I put something, he's a smoker and eats meat. I had some of these I had some positive things too, but also some negative things. But I found that the negative things, it wasn't so nice, because whenever I would think of that person, I'd think, oh yeah, Smoker Bill. So I was thinking of him as Bill the Smoker. That wasn't so a nice way to think of it. So I stopped doing that, putting down that. It's understood that we have areas to be improved. What would be better is to put, he's chanting so many rounds, and he's doing this service, and he's doing that service. Once I was trying to encourage the Bhakti program and the Bhaktas, new devotees. So I wanted them to try to keep their areas clean, their shelves and their bedding. And so I said, so we're going to have an inspection. I'll come around and inspect the areas. So I did that. And then I had little signs and some badges, and I put them on the different places. Mochi. Mochi means I'm clean. So that whoever got the Mochi sign, he wasn't very happy. It would have been better to just put the Suchi sign. That's okay, glorify who keeps things clean. Give him appreciation. So the Mochi didn't go over very good. Better to find the good qualities. Next, the golden rule. The golden rule is do unto others as you would have them do unto you. I think Janaka Pandit says something like that, Matravak Paradadeshu, Paradravyeshu Lostravat Atmavat Salvavuteshu. So Panditas, such a verses, Tasyati Sapandita, one who sees all women as mother, others' property as insignificant piece of stone, and he treats others as he would like to be treated. It's a golden rule. So when we treat people, we should think how we would like it if we were treated like that. Next is don't create enemies unnecessarily. And we've already got enough enemies in this world. It's like you said, when you get married, and automatically some members will like you, some won't like you in the other family. That just happens automatically. Some people, you can't make everyone like you. Some people will like you, some people won't like you. But don't make enemies unnecessarily. This came up when there was a discussion. One devotee was speaking to Prabhupada and said, I think we should start a big campaign to criticize such and such bogus yogi. So Prabhupada didn't deny that the person was a bogus yogi, because he was. But he didn't think it was very good to name him personally and make enemies unnecessarily. And he gave the example that just like if you want to kill a skunk, if you kill the skunk with your hand, then your hand smells bad. You understand skunk? So you may think, well, I'll kill this skunk, it smells bad. I'll kill this bad smelling skunk. But you kill him with your hand and your hand smells bad. So, don't make enemies unnecessarily. Don't create. Then being a teacher or a leader. Sometimes we have to be the teacher. Sometimes we have to be the leader. And it's our duty to lead and to teach. There was one movie I saw when I was young, and the teacher was teaching children. She said, getting to know you, getting to know all about you, getting to like you, getting to hope you like me, putting it my way, but nicely. What that means is, she was talking about relationships. I'm the teacher, so I'm putting it my way, but nicely. That's the most important part. Teacher has to put it correctly, but nicely. Being respect the students. It's not that the students are not to be respected just because I'm the teacher. Students, because the students that we're dealing with, the students who come to us are coming to Krishna. So they're not ordinary students. They're coming to learn about Krishna. So we should be respectful to them. But that doesn't mean that everybody's opinion is the same either. It doesn't mean everybody's philosophy is as good as everyone else's. Teacher has to teach because he knows something. So it's not, teacher explains something, it doesn't mean that he's demeaning or reducing the student, but actually he's helping the student. He's raising them up. Or coaching. When a coach is helping one of the players on the team, he says, do it like this. That's not insulting them. That's helping them. That's training them. And if it's done correctly, then the member of the team will feel very much appreciative. Thank you for helping me. It's like mother helps a child. The child appreciates. Well, sometimes the child wants to do it on his own, and the mother may let the child do it on its own, but she's always watching to make sure that the child doesn't get hurt doing it on its own. So, being a teacher means teach what you know, what you've heard from higher authorities. Don't speculate, but be respectful, not harsh. Encouraging. Just look at Prabhupada, such a wonderful teacher, such a wonderful leader. He took so much respect, but he didn't take it for himself. When he arrived at an airport in America somewhere, there was a reception, of course, hundreds of devotees bowing down to Prabhupada and throwing flowers. So the reporter said, you know, these people actually worship you. And he said, yes, I also worship my guru. That's the system. So sometimes you'll be a leader and you'll be respected. But don't take the respect for yourself, that you're worthy of it. But pass it on to your superiors. That if I have anything, if there's anything worthwhile in me at all, it's only because of what they taught me or what I've learned from them. So they deserve the credit. And wearing different hats. What we mean is that sometimes we have different relationships with the same person. It's like, let's say we're working with someone where I'm the employer and he's the employee. Okay, so that's one relationship, it's one hat. I'm the boss and he's the worker. But then after work, we may go somewhere together as friends. So then I have to take off the employer hat, put on the friend's hat. And I have to treat him like a friend, not that I tell him to do this, do this. Janaki Pandit says, when you have children, the first 5 years, you instruct them. First 5 years, no instruction. Freedom. And next, from 5 years to 16 years, use a stick. A lot of instruction. And when they're 16, throw away the stick. Just be their friend. You have to change relationships, change hats. Now he's 16, I think, was it? Hridaya Hari, he's now 16. Right? So you have to throw away the stick now. Now he's your friend. Before, tell him do this, don't do like this. Now you have to just be friends. Different. So sometimes the relationships change under certain circumstances. You have to be able to wear different hats under different circumstances. Danger of pride. Become proud. Whenever we're honored, we become proud, or whenever we're apparently successful or we win something. Become proud. But if we remember, like we were hearing this morning about Arjuna, Arjuna wasn't, those verses we were reading, he wasn't praising himself. He was praising himself, but he said, I defeated Bhishma and Drona and everyone, but really he was praising Krishna. He didn't take the credit for himself. I'm so qualified. He realized that it can all be taken away. Sometimes Krishna puts us in a situation where he takes away our pride, reduces us, makes us look less important. Well, we should take that. That's nice. Reduce our pride. Because pride is what makes us rebel against Krishna. Why do I need somebody telling me? Lord Chaitanya said, Chanana pisa nichena, Taloda pisa ishnana, Amanina manadena, Kirtaniya sadahari. One should think oneself lower than the straw on the street, devoid of all sense of false prestige, ready to offer all respects to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. Oh. Humility is the opposite of pride. Pride is without humility, thinking I'm the best, I deserve the most respect. Humility is, I don't think I'm the best, I'm insignificant. I don't deserve any respect. At least theoretically, we should try to cultivate that. It's not so easy to do it in practice. We do like to be honored. But when one actually becomes advanced in Krishna consciousness, he really doesn't want to be honored. He doesn't want to be honored because he's afraid that it'll make him proud, or prouder than he already is, and then he won't be able to chant nicely. When we're proud, we're thinking about ourselves, how exalted we are. How can you chant when you're thinking about how exalted you are? How can you concentrate on your own chanting Hare Krishna? is chanting in helplessness. A child, when he's in distress, he's very humble. No pride. Just wants help. Isn't it the baby? Baby's crying. Doesn't care who hears. Doesn't care. Just wants help. Doesn't think, I can do it myself. What do I need your help for? Well, the baby, that's why the mother feels so responsible, because the infant is helpless. That's real humility. When you're helpless and you know you're helpless. So, when we need help, and we do need help, we do need guidance, we need direction, we need kindness. So that's humility. We need direction. We should remember that those devotees who are put in leadership position, those who are serving under them are very much obliged to them, because they're giving kindness and guidance and knowledge, confidence, so many nice things. And we need that. We need superiors. We might think, I want to be independent, I don't want to have anyone above me. That's pride. Pride makes a person think, what do I need a guru for? It's just me and God, me and Krishna. Or just me. Maybe I don't need Krishna either. Proud. I can do it on my own. Self-made. That's foolishness. We need help. So we should be realistic. It's like sometimes a wife thinks, I don't need a husband. What do I need this husband for? I'm making money, I have my own money. Or a husband thinks, what do I need a wife for? I'll take sannyas. He's probably not ready for sannyas. He thinks, I don't need a wife. And he gets in trouble. Or she leaves, she gets in trouble. So this is pride. She doesn't think I need a husband, and he thinks I don't need a wife. But we should consult with higher authorities, more advanced devotees, and say, do you think I still need a wife? He'll say, yes. She'll say, do you think I still need a husband? And they'll say, yes. They'll give good advice. Vedic culture is based on these types of relationships. Consulting with others. Tadati, Pratikanati, Guyamakyati, Prachati. So these loving exchanges between devotees, revealing one's mind confidentially, hearing someone else, hearing their advice, hearing someone reveal their minds, and sometimes I reveal my mind. And that brings us to the 6 steps for good relationships. We just discussed those. Tadati, giving gifts. If you want to have good relationships, give gifts. And then when they give a gift to you, then you appreciate it. A person who appreciates others' gifts, everyone, maybe you've met people like that. You give them some gift, and even that, no matter how insignificant the gift is, they say, "Oh, that's wonderful, just what I needed." And they put it to their heart, and you feel great. You feel very happy because they've taken your gift, and if they put it, like Prabhupada, the children would sometimes bring a picture they had drawn. Prabhupada would have it framed or something like that. Or if someone brought some flowers, Prabhupada would say, "Bring a vase, put some water." Giving gifts, receiving gifts. These are loving, these foster loving relationships. Sometimes you reveal your mind in confidence to a senior devotee. And sometimes then they reveal their minds to you. Nothing better than that. When someone comes to you and needs advice, it's your duty to try to help them. And when you need help, and you need advice, and you go to your trusted counselors, you need that. You have to be sometimes a counselor to others, and sometimes you need your counselors. These are part of your relationships. You have to have all these. And then, Bhukte Bhojayate Chaiva, offering, giving prasadam to someone else, and then taking prasadam from someone else. Isn't distributing prasadam an enjoyable activity? Sometimes it's more enjoyable than taking prasadam, just distributing prasadam. It's enjoyable because you create friendships, relationships. And sometimes when someone serves you prasadam, you feel very satisfied when they give you something. Gratefulness. We spoke a little bit about gratefulness. Krishna is so grateful. He's the perfect example. One time he was cutting, the story goes, he was cutting some fruit and he cut his finger and there was some blood. So Draupadi, she took her, immediately, without even hesitating, she cut off some of her beautiful silk sari and wrapped Krishna's finger. And Krishna said, "Thank you, I'll return I'll pay you back for this." So we know Krishna later, he gave her unlimited sari. He's grateful. He didn't forget that. He never forgets a gift. Non-physical gifts. When we think of non-physical gifts, we think of just like some nice words. It doesn't have a wrapper on it, and it doesn't have a bow and a card, but some nice words. Sometimes a few nice words mean more than anything. Or just a smile, isn't it? There are some devotees, maybe you've met some like this. They're very busy devotees, and everyone wants to associate with them. And so, they may not have a lot of time to spend with everyone, but they spend a few seconds, or whatever, a few moments. But those few moments are so full of giving and kindness, kind smile, kind words, kind glance, that the people feel completely satisfied. So don't think that gifts, or only physical gifts, doesn't cost money. Or, if you can't, maybe you don't have time for smiles and nice glances and nice words, just have some nice thoughts. That's even easier. You don't even have to be with the person. Telepathy. If you give some nice thoughts about a person, it works. No matter where they are, we're all packed up together on the spiritual platform. So there's no restrictions that you don't even have to tell them I was thinking favorably about you. They know. And even if they don't know, Krishna knows. Krishna will reveal to them when they need to know. I had one experience myself. One of my godbrothers, this godbrother was a very enthusiastic devotee, and he was generally serving in other countries than myself, so we never worked together very much. But I always appreciated him. But I didn't realize how much I appreciated him until he passed away. Then I realized that the relationship was not just physical, it wasn't just being, because personally together we weren't very much together. But we were close on the spiritual platform because of appreciation and mutual service to Prabhupada. Then business gifts. A business gift means I give you something, but I'm expecting something in return. It's like when a businessman says, I'd like to take you out to lunch. What does it mean? It means he wants me to sign and buy something from him, so he'll make some money. So that doesn't mean that taking me out to lunch has no value. It just means that it's not pure. There's some motive. So gifts with motives, I'll give him a gift, he'll give me maybe a bigger gift. Still, it works. It's not the purest type of gift. The best gift is when one doesn't expect anything in return. That's called unalloyed devotional service. Lord Chaitanya said, I do not know anyone except Krishna as my Lord. He shall always remain my Lord, even if he handles me roughly by his embrace, or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. Still he is my worshipful Lord unconditionally. So that's unconditional service, and Lord Chaitanya's mercy is unconditional. Whether you deserve it or you don't deserve it. One devotee said, Narottam Das Thakur said, you save the most fallen. You're known as Patita Pavana. You're the savior of the most fallen. So my claim is first. I'm the most fallen. Lord Chaitanya is so merciful. So a few more points and then I'm going to take a 5-minute break. And during that time, we can have a little kirtan. And if you have any questions, when I come back, we'll discuss any of those questions. Okay, the last few points are juniors and seniors. We discussed it a little bit, but it's very important because we do have juniors and seniors in the world, and we need to learn how to deal with them. That relationship is very important. And the juniors should respect the seniors. That's a good culture. When that's lost, then the whole tradition is lost. When the juniors don't respect the seniors. Like in India, some of you have been to India, you know, still they have some remnants of the Veda culture. Not all of it is still there, but many parts, the children offer respects in the morning to their parents. And Krishna, every morning when he would wake up, he would go and pay his respects to his elders, Maharaj Ugrasena Vasudeva, his father. That's why we pay obeisances to the Guru. And we pay our obeisances to sannyasis and senior devotees. That's good. That keeps us humble. And also, when we do that, then we're opening the path for them to be kind to us and to help us. Generally, seniors, they like to help those who want to be helped. They know it. No senior likes to go up to people that don't want to. Go away, leave me alone, old man. Don't bother me. So he thinks, I won't give them. So, but still, it's the duty of seniors to give good advice, even though it may not always be appreciated. It's their duty. Even though it may not. But that good advice, that wisdom of the seniors, it's their duty to do that. I remember once I was at a farm community, and I was in my office, and outside my office there were some teenagers, devotees, and they were speaking not very nicely. So I went out and chastised them in a philosophical way. But I didn't earn at least immediately I wasn't very popular amongst the teenagers, because they didn't appreciate my instructions. But some years later, one of them came and said, I want to thank you. You actually gave us good advice. So sometimes we have to give good advice even if it's not appreciated. It's our duty. The children don't always appreciate when the parents give them instruction. Listen, I want to tell you something. No, I don't want to hear. So the mother just says, okay, forget it then. The mother says, no, you must hear. This is important. So don't be afraid to exert yourself as a senior when you're giving good advice, important advice, and advice without being angry. Shouldn't be angry. Because if we become angry, then it's difficult to give good advice. In the mood of anger, our advice turns into some kind of abuse. So, not get angry. Or if we do get angry, it should be at non-devotee demons. You can be like Hanuman became angry against Ravana. But not against devotees. You shouldn't be angry. Okay, so someone can lead Kirtan for a few minutes. Volunteers. Okay. And then when I come back, any questions?
Krishna
Didn't realize we used to, I think, our time already, so we'll take a few questions for a few minutes. Anyone have any questions?
Hare Krishna. Put it like this. Very clear. It's very simple. Also, read Prabhupada's books. It is like very clear. But then we close the book. When you go outside the room, it tends to get complicated. So I want to get a simple answer why. Not a philosophical maybe answer, but just a simple answer. Why it's always getting so complicated.
Humility is the underlying principle. When humility is there, when love for Krishna, love for Prabhupada, when those things are in the right place, when one's sincere, then he can accept. I may not know everything, sometimes I'm disrespected, sometimes I'm these things. So sincerity is the primary point. Humility, sincerity. If we're not humble and we're not sincere, and we won't want to hear from authorities. What they tell us we'll say. Who are you to tell me? But when we're humble, or we're trying to be humble, trying to be sincere, then we say, okay, let me give some serious, let me try to accept this good advice. Not rebellious. It's like children in school. Some of the children, the teacher says, all right, you have to stay after school, and then the teacher gives them some lessons, tells them. And they learn. Some of them don't learn. They don't. They rebel. So, if we're trying not to rebel, we're trying to become surrendered to Krishna, not rebellious. If we're surrendered, or trying to become surrendered to Krishna, then we can take on these things.
Could you please recall and tell us the situation what you told exactly the kids who were making noise in front of your office? Because I think you are very often in these kind of situations. How can we use your philosophical answer to...
Well, they were using foul language, and I pointed out that this is a holy place, this is a holy dham, and that they are being trained to become future leaders of the Krishna consciousness movement, and they shouldn't defile a holy place with their foul language. So, of course, at the time they didn't appreciate it. But later they did, because... So that's the point, that we may have to sometimes say things that are not popular. That mean we can't only speak things that are popular. You might be a good politician, and a politician speaks only things that the people want to hear. He never says we're going to increase taxes. If you elect me, I promise you we'll increase taxes. And he promises so many things. But someone like a sadhu cuts with his sharp words, he cuts our illusions. So we need to have our illusions cut. Prabhupada, for example, when the young boys and girls, the young people that came to him in New York at 66, 65, they were having peace rallies. And Prabhupada said, there won't be any peace. Don't worry. Well, that wasn't what they wanted to hear. And he pointed out that in the material world there's no peace. Then he told them things they didn't want to hear, like no illicit sex. That was the last thing they wanted to hear. And no intoxication. That was the last thing they wanted to hear. But he told them. He didn't care. He thought, they may take it, they may not take it, doesn't matter, my duty is to teach. He gave the example of a deki. Deki is a threshing machine. So if you have the deki on earth, it threshes. If you take it to heaven, it threshes. That's what it does, that's its duty. So a sadhu speaks the truth. Whether it's popular or not popular, doesn't matter. We don't just speak popular things. Popularity is not the goal of life. I want to become popular and win. I want to have so many, followers on my Facebook. What do they call them? Followers? Some of you must have Facebook accounts. What's it called? Followers? Yes. So I want to have many followers. na janam. Okay, another place there.
I want to ask you, sometimes devotees, it seems, have some
Give me a little more
fear.
volume.
Sometimes devotees, it seems, some devotees have some fear and say, I don't want to be humble because then others will exploit me. So can you say something about
Yeah,
this?
I've heard that many times. Well, you shouldn't be humble to someone who will exploit you. I agree. If they're exploitive, then why should you be humble to them? You should be humble to those who will properly guide you. It's like parents, they tell their children, they teach their children, don't take rides from strangers. Don't take gifts from strangers. They teach the children that. Because otherwise they'll get exploited. That's protective. So, yes, we shouldn't be humble to those who are exploitive. They'll take advantage of us. But being humble to Krishna, yes. Being humble to the spiritual master, yes. To the saintly persons, yes. They won't exploit us. They won't take advantage of us. So if you're doubting, say, I doubt this devotee. Okay, what about that devotee? Are there any devotees you don't doubt? That's an important question. If you say, no, I don't trust anyone, do you trust Krishna? Will Krishna exploit you? If he says, no, I trust Krishna. And that's the thing, we have to trust Krishna. Then we have to trust Lord Chaitanya, then we have to trust Prabhupada. Even if we don't trust everyone, hopefully we trust at least Krishna. The more we trust Krishna, the more we trust Krishna's devotees. So, I would say, we should be humble, but not naive. It's like it said we're supposed to see all living entities with equal eye, equal vision. That doesn't mean that we go up and embrace the lion. The lion will eat you. But you see him as a spirit soul. Rupa Goswami in the Nectar of Instruction says, when you see someone who's chanting Hare Krishna, but his character is not good, sounds like a contradiction, but sometimes it happens. Someone's chanting Hare Krishna, but their character is not so good. So you can offer them respect in your mind, but keep your distance because their behavior is not so good. So that way you're offering respect for their chanting, but not closely associating because their behavior is not so good. Okay, thank you very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, Shri Gaura Nitai Ki Jai.